Hi, I'm Kay of Kay's Creative Home. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be sharing part 4 in my series on how to make a bow. And our bow today is the 4-loop bow. Let's get started. In part 1 of our series, we covered the wing bow. In part 2, we covered the shoestring bow. In part 3, we looked at a 2-loop bow. And today we're going to discuss part 4, the 4-loop bow. Hi everyone! Today we're going to be making the 4-loop bow with a center loop. And in the Easy Bow Maker, it's called a butterfly bow. And then we're going to do a slight variation on that bow and make a pinwheel bow and a starburst bow. Measure 8 inches for my tail, 2 inches for my center loop. Let's do 3 inches because it's hard to hold it. Twist. That's my center loop. 8 inches. Bring it back to the center. Pinch. Twist. 8 inches. Back to the center. And if this is moving too fast for you, or if I'm not explaining enough, go back to one of our earlier videos in the series and it'll have, really slow step-by-step instructions for what I'm doing. Twist, what we're doing and why we're doing it. 8 inches. Back to the center. Twist. And the twisting is all about making sure the right side of the ribbon is always facing up. 8 inches. Back to the center. Oops. Lost you a little bit there. Tinsel stem. Through the center loop. Twist. And we're going to shape. First thing I'm going to do is pull this tail down. I'm going to measure my last 8 inches and cut the other tail. Go to the bottom here and make my fishtails. And I'm going to shape. So here's my 4-loop bow with tails, and they call this the butterfly bow just because of how the wings kind of sit out on both sides. I'm going to start out with about 8 inches for our tail, and I'm going to scrunch. This ribbon is very hard to tell the front from the back. I will only know it because of how it's curled, but you can see you can't really tell the difference. So, but I will continue to twist when I finish making the loop, so that you don't lose sight of the fact that you will have to be twisting when you have a ribbon that has front and back. So, okay, 8 inches again. You make your first loop. I'm going to twist 8 inches again. Make my second loop, scrunch it up, bring it back to the center. I've made my second loop. Twist. Eight inches again, scrunch it up, bring it back to the center. Twist and cut my tail at about 8 inches again. Get my tinsel stem, wrap it around. Do a gentle twist because I am not finished shaping, so I want to make sure both tails are down. All right, so go to the back again and finish twisting this tightly. This is a Dollar Tree tinsel stem, and I heard someone today say that if you twist it too many times it will break. Anything that has wire in it, if you twist it too many times, it'll break, but I guess the Dollar Tree ones are more sensitive. I've never had a problem with them breaking, but just be gentle with them. And just in case, if you decide to use them. So we shape our bow. And there's my 4-loop bow. So the variation is called a starburst bow. So let me move this to the side for a second. And I'm going to need, since I've been doing my tails in 8 inches, I'm going to do 16 inches so that we start the same. I may not need that full length. But we want to make sure we got enough. I'm going to take this and scrunch it in the center. I don't know why I picked the hardest ribbon to work with. It's just slipping through my hands. I'm going to go to the back and attach it within my zip tie, within my tinsel stem. So this time I'm going to take the tails and pull them up. So I've got my center bow. Tell here I got my 4-loop bow. I've got tails going up and tails going down. So now we want to almost arrange. I'm going to arrange it a little bit so that we got almost a tail between each loop. Well, before we do that, well, no. Yeah, before we do that, so next thing I want to do is cover up my center with something a little cutie so that we don't have a tinsel stem showing. And again, when you wrap this wire ribbon around the center like this to make it more decorative, it'll kind of hold its shape, and you can just use your tinsel stem to hold it in place. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to have a loop and a tail. So tail, loop, tail, loop, tail, back to the other side, loop, tail, and a loop. Now this may not be perfect, but it's kind of to just spread it out. Get it going fully all the way around. So what I'm going to do is cut these tails maybe an inch or two just beyond the end of your loop. And I'm going to work my way around and do that. Turn it this way since it seemed to be sitting up like that. And this is called a starburst bow. And you can see it's just a slight variation on our 4-loop bow because we have the 4 loops, but we have 2 sets of tails right in here. One tail going up, one set of tails going up, one set of tails coming down. And it just makes the whole thing seem to blossom out. Like I said, when it comes to these bows, you can play with them forever. But that is our starburst bow. Start with our 8-inch tail. Again, I'm just using 8 inches so that I don't use up all of my ribbon I have in stock. So we're going to make our loops. 8 inches. Bring it to the center. Twist. 8 inches. Eight inches. Bring it to the center, twist, 8 inches, twist, eight inches, bring it to the center, and a nice little twist. Oh, it's really, this ribbon is really twisting up here because it's so lightweight. In this case, we're going to leave one ribbon hanging off the top and the other tail hanging off. I'm sorry, we're going to leave one tail hanging off the top and one tail hanging off the bottom. We do not need them going the same direction. And I'm going to add in my little tinsel stem. Give it a twist. All right. Now I'm going to make a little, this tail is so long I can cut some off of here. And we folded this in thirds. I'm just going to fold it until I get it kind of wrapped around here to cover up my center. Bring it to the back. tucking these in so I don't have so much wire everywhere. And I'm just going to take my tinsel stem and hold it in place again. That way I don't have to heat up the hot glue gun. Okay, so here's the front of my bow. Shape this one going up. Shape this one coming down to the left. Then on the right. Shape that one going up. Shape this one going down. So I have up and down on each side. Up and down on that side. And then my tail sticking up and tail sticking down. So now to make this a pinwheel, you know how a pinwheel kind of goes around? So you've got to decide which way you're going to cut it. I'm going to cut it, because I'm right-handed, so that it goes from here and kind of circles up toward the top. And I'm trying to make sure it's about the same height as my loop. So let's start here. And if it's too long, I gotta go down a little bit more. Make the shape I kind of want. There we go. So you can look at that and see how it keeps the circle going. And I'm going to do that on the other side. And that is my pinwheel bow. And this side looks like it could be trimmed a little bit more, doesn't it? Bring it down. Okay. This is my pinwheel bow. And it just kind of makes that nice, well, should go this way, little circular shape like a pinwheel. 4 loops, 2 tails, and that's a variation on the 4-loop bow, and we have a pinwheel bow. Okay? For the Deco Mesh, because I did so much moving around and we know the tail is going to curl, I would not recommend it for the pinwheel or the starburst. It's not, the tail is not going to hold its shape, but for a basic 4-loop bow, kind of like our 2-loop bow, it'll be the same. And I'll insert a picture here of the 2 loops, but we'll just have 4 loops. You can take the tail and interweave it in your tree or wreath or whatever it is you're making. It is going to be, it's going to take a little patience because the edges are going to get kind of entangled in itself. So, but we can make a 4-loop bow with this. So here's some burlap ribbon I happen to have in stock. For this one, let's do the Easy Bow Maker, so we have an example of how to do it with the Easy Bow Maker. So I measured my 8" using the Easy Bow Maker. I put it in the center here. I did my 8" this way. I'm going to twist. This is really stiff. At the 4" point, I'm going to hold it. Scrunch it right in here. And now I'm saying 4" because, of course, if we open it all the way up, it's 8". So I got 4 coming this way and 4 coming back. So that's my 8". Put it in here. and twist. Four inches again, back to the center. And I'm going to twist it while it's still in my hands. Ooh, that thing is tight when you first put it together, which is good because it's going to hold up. And I think I'm going to barely make it, but I think we should make it. Yeah. And again, I twisted as I was putting it in there. 4 inches. Oh man, we barely made it. And this is my last one, so I'm just going to come back with my tail, and I do not have enough to make a loop. So we're going to work with this as it is. Pencil stem, put it underneath all of this. Lift it. Lift it. It's so tight. When you get your easy bow maker, if you get your easy bow maker, let me tell you, this thing holds it snugly, but I'm sure over time it'll loosen up as you keep using it. So I don't want to loosen it up. I'll twist this to the back. I think I'm going to twist it to the back. It's not moving. Oh yeah, it did move. I'm going to give it a good twist. Took a tiny bit off of one tail. Going to wrap it around here. This is my front. Doesn't look like it, does it? Because I haven't shaped it yet. Did we make it? I think we made it. Might not be long enough. Yeah, we made it. Get that secured. And my tinsel stem. Shape my loops. Bring this one down. Sorry, this probably looks a mess as I'm trying to shape it. I'm just trying to twist these loops and tails into place. And I really should have done that while I was making it, but I'll show you that in a second using the Easy Bow Maker. And like I said, this is nice and stiff. The wiring is helping, and it held its shape wonderfully. I'm going to trim the edges. Sorry, you can't really see, but you will see in a second. So here's my 4-loop bow, and I just did an angle on the tails. As you can see, it worked great for this burlap ribbon. That's a pretty cute bow too with that animal print. Okay. And I'm going to keep using the Easy Bow Maker with this because sometimes it's so hard to bend and twist this. I want to see what happens. Since this material worked with our 2-loop bow, I'm pretty sure it'll work for this one. So I'm going to give myself a 6-inch tail because I'm going to make the loops probably a little smaller. Yeah, no more than 2 inches. And you see this is nice and thin, so it's just sliding right on through. Now what some people do, I tend to make my loops the same width. So I'm always still trying to go back to 2 inches, especially for this one because we're going to spread out the loops. And what you can do is kind of put it where you want it as you're bringing it through this Easy Bow Maker. Put the loops exactly where you want them. So this one I'm going to bring down when I do my 2-inch point. Get in there. So you can see I've already kind of got my shape. I got 2 loops. This is in the way, but you can see the 2 loops up and down and the 2 loops up and down. This one looking a little long. That 2. Okay. And I'm going to try to make a I'm not going to try to make a center loop because that's going to make my... I'll bring that one down. I'm holding the center. And bring this one down. I don't want everything to move. I just want the tails to move. I'm holding my center. I've kind of got my bow made and shaped before I even take it off. You slide this up underneath of everything. Let me cut it first. How about that? Oops, I moved it. You moved it. Slide my tinsel stem up under everything on one side. Wrap it around here, hold it tightly, pull it off. The front. I'm going to twist this to the back. Give it a nice twist. Got it nice and snug. Pull my tails down again, as you can see. So with some shaping, what did I do here? Did I bend it too much? Yep. With some shaping. This is coming out nicely. This ribbon is very slippery, so just like wax paper. So even though I have this tinsel tied as tightly as I can do it, I can feel it, pulling, pulling from the other side. I can feel it sliding through that center. All right. So, excuse all the excuse all the glitter coming off my tinsel stem. But that's what you would use to attach it. And here's my 4-loop bow. It worked great with this material, especially with the help of the bow maker. I'm not sure, well, for me it would have been difficult for me to pinch it and hold it without it sliding through my fingers. So that one worked out well. Let's try raffia, just so we have a thinner material. And I'm going to do this in my hands, just to see. And I'm just going to make this quickly. This is looking great. No problem whatsoever, except for me holding it. see if we can make a center loop. Let's see what happens. Just want to see. Yeah, I think we can. Once I get this through here and on here, I'm going to pull that center loop a little tighter. Okay. Ooh, this is hard to hold. Again, everything is just slipping. But I'm going to pull this tighter now. Yeah, that worked out pretty good. So this is the, excuse the tinsel, that won't be seen when you attach it. This is the raffia. The 4 loops kind of have a mind of their own. They will do their own thing. And shape them, but they probably won't stay in place. Well, maybe they will. Oh, and you can see as I pulled on it, it just pulled from the other side. So it was difficult to get this tight in the center, but it does hold its shape. It does look cute as long as you're making it a small bow. If you made the loops a lot bigger, it would kind of be of a floppy bow. And it works though. I think it looks nice. So I did my 6 inches for tail. I'm gonna do 4 inches for loop, twist, 4 inches for a loop, twist, 4 inches loop again, twist, ooh, everything slipped, twist, all right, that all slipped way out of place. I think I got it back right. Get this on here quick. All right, I'm trying to hold it in place and shape a little bit because everything with this silky ribbon is just sliding out of place. Twist this on tight in the back. I'm sorry, I know that looks like a jumbled up mess, but I had to get it tight. So it works. This does not have wire. It's not holding its shape quite as well. I'm having a hard time. I had a hard time shaping it before I tightened it, and now that it's tightened, oh Lord, it's twisting. Just twisting on me, trying to get all the front facing forward, and it's not cooperating. So you can see a little bit of the back there. And if I pull that up that way, twist this more. So it ended up, I have a tail bit up top. Oh dear, I'm not having fun with this, but you can see it can make a 4-loop bow. It's not fun trying to make it because it's slippery. It's very slippery. It's moving all over the place. Can't get it to behave because it doesn't have wire. But this piece I can't seem to get facing forward. So, I don't know if I twist it completely. That's a little better. All right. So here it is, 4-loop bow. Trim my tails. This one has a lot of tape on it, so I'm gonna have to make it even. So here's my 4-loop bow. My tails are fine. I got them to finally hang down. It's kind of twisting. It has a mind of its own because there's no wire. So I found this difficult to work with because as I pulled and all, it just kept slippering again. It just kept slipping and sliding all over the place. So this is not a lot of fun to work with, but you can do it. It can hold its shape as long as your loops aren't too big again, because if they get real long, it becomes a floppy bow. One more time with the cord. And you already know this is going to be just like, very similar to the raffia. Because, oops. Come on, fingers, hold it together here. See if I can do this with one hand. Oh, I didn't mention, I finally figured out what was breaking out my hand so bad. Oh my goodness. Every time I would get it looking better, it would all of a sudden get worse again. It's the gloves I was using to work in the yard. Went out there the other day and took them off, and I was just scratching and scratching. I'm like, oh. Didn't realize I was scratching like this every time I took them off. Okay, I'm just trying to make a knot here with one hand. All right, there we go. Got the first one done. So now when my hand should get better now and stay better because I figured out what was going on. So now I use the cord to, instead of tinsel, so this will be what I use. This piece here will be what I use to attach it. And here's a 4-loop bow. And I just let the tails hang long. But that's how that would look. Uh-oh, that's not tight, it's moving. So you're gonna have to be careful with it, or maybe add a dab of glue to make sure everything stays in place. Okay, but that's how that one, you can see how this one got shorter. Everything's sliding around. So you're gonna have to get your center really tight or use some glue. All right, I got it as tight as I could. But that's how that would look. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial today. If you did, give it a thumbs up and share it with others. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you can see other things we're going to be doing in the series. So today we did the 4-loop bow with the center loop. And then the variation on the right was the pinwheel bow. And on the left was the starburst bow. And this 4-loop bow is also known as the butterfly bow. So the other materials we used was the burlap, and it worked well with the gift wrap ribbon and the raffia on the left. And then with our jute cord and the silky ribbon on the right. The silky ribbon was the hardest to work with. And as you can see, it's not holding its shape as well. But all in all, I think they turned out really good using the different materials. Okay, I thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll be talking with you again real soon.